Welcome back, guys. I have a story today, y'all, that consists of a black man, a black woman, a Klans member, and Judge Joe Brown. And the Klans member is not the problem, okay? So, before we get into the inspiration behind the episode for today and just the story itself, go ahead if you have not and click that subscription button. Go ahead and subscribe. And if you haven't, also click the notification bell so you can be notified as new videos and new content comes. So go ahead and do that. And let's get into this week's inspo before we get into the story. So last week was a huge week in the confirmation of Ketanji Brown to the Supreme Court. It was a beautiful thing to witness. I don't care. Just for me, I love groundbreaking moments. This did hit home because I am a black woman and I'm a black nappy headed woman. And so for me, I don't know how many times I've been told how attached are you to that hairstyle. Locks will only get you so far because you may have all the potential in the world, but you're going to be capped. So to see this nappy headed woman sitting on one of the highest seats that you can sit on makes me feel so good. So good. And just there's a million reasons that I can say why this makes me feel good and why it's great. But I'm going to talk about just kind of the disappointing moment and kind of what really gave me the inspiration kind of for the story I'm going to tell you guys shortly. It was so disappointing to see so many people walk out. Um, I genuinely don't care where you fall party line. Race, I don't care. Like, it's just a matter of respect. And just, we have been in years of division, and I'm so over it. I'm so sick of it. So, even when we think about doing episodes or like what can we do? What can we talk about? You talk about like current events and topics and things. Okay, well, and so I thought about really kind of going in on the disrespect of what I felt about that situation. And I thought, no, there's enough places, enough venues and spaces that are holding those conversations, some healthy, some unhealthy, but they're being had nonetheless. I don't want to add any kind of more, I don't want to be part of any more division. I'm so sick of it. So, and sometimes you will get that little nudge in the right direction. And so I did have that this past week just to kind of just remind me a little bit. So I was at an event for my son, and it's a new group that we've joined. And so we're new and we go weekly. And this particular day, and most of the time in this particular group, we are, I think, one of the only people of color. And in this particular day, I was the only black person out there. And conversations were being had about a particular topic, and it was something I definitely did not agree with. And I could tell kind of everyone's looking kind of like, well, what does she think? What is she gonna say? And homegirl was about to go. Okay, homegirl was about to go, but I said no, because your son is really enjoying it. And this is a moment of opportunity. And in my head, I was thinking about the confirmation situation because it's so easy to walk out on things sometimes that we don't agree with. And I'm so glad I stayed. I'm so glad I stayed because my son had an amazing time. He met some amazing friends. And I, as well, met some amazing people, some amazing parents who I think will definitely be added to my community. And if not, they're definitely worth more of the conversations, more conversations for more topics. Because what I found out and from staying is that there was, for as much as we didn't have in common, there was so much more that we agreed upon. And so sometimes just sticking it out so you can see, because that is what makes the world uniquely us. That's what makes it us. That's what makes it go around, is all our perspectives, all our viewpoints, because we come from different worlds, different cultures, different races, different experience as humans. And so when we share those, we're able to come up with great ideas. We're able to make better decisions because maybe I've gone through something that you haven't. So, I mean, whatever the case, it was just like, okay. And then also, I had a reminder of this story. And this is not my story, but I had the permission to tell it. It's from a very dear family member of mine who we'll call Rose, just to protect her privacy. So, Rose and is the story with black woman, remember, black man, clan member, Judge Joe Brown. Clan member is not a problem. So, as the story goes, Rose moves to town. She is new to town in the south, a southern town. And one of the first things she does is she tries to get to know people. So, she gets to know her neighbors who are white, a lovely white couple who embraces her. They offer to, do her lawn. They just amazing couple. And so also she goes to church to, that's what we do. You go to church to meet and greet, meet new people. And she felt like it was a safe place. So she goes and she meets a gentleman who she thinks is nice, not necessarily looking for a relationship, but companionship. He is married, so that's not going to go. But what actually winds up happening is she winds up becoming really good friends with the husband and wife, amazing couple, who introduces her to a friend who they think will be an awesome candidate, at least because he's lonely too. And it'll be a great opportunity for them to kind of meet and greet and decide whatever they choose to do as adults to go on. And so they do. They form a friendship and a bond. They go out to eat. They go out and just bond and get to know each other. He works on air conditionings, and mind keep that little nugget in your brain, okay? So he works on air conditioning or air conditioners. So sometimes she goes along for the rides as he's doing some of his appointments. Just they developed a great friendship. So one summer night, she gets her home broken into and she is uneasy. This is Rose. Rose gets her home broken into. She is feeling really, really uneasy about it. So Rose decides that she's gonna tell her friend that, the first thing you do naturally sometimes after, you go to the police, like you tell your friends, well, this is going on. I'm really feeling kind of uneasy about it. So the friend offers, hey, I'll come over and I'll stay for a few nights. So he offers to stay and he's okay with staying in the guest room because it's like not happening, okay? And but he is okay to stay in the guest room. He stays there for a few nights until she feels comfortable. And once she feels comfortable, she's like, okay, hey, it's okay to go now. I feel good. I'm all right. And he's like, no, you gonna give me some draws. And so when she says no, he is livid. He is like, he feels used. He is, I mean, yelling obscenity. He is like not having it. So now we've gone from feeling uneasy about the break in to now we're feeling uneasy about this particular person who she's had in her home. Well, what winds up happening from there, once he leaves, he actually on another night, again, this is when I told you that's going to come into play. He does something to her air conditioning. She wakes up in the hottest sweats. I mean, it's steamy, okay, guys? So she wakes up just feeling awful. So once this happens, she then goes to the neighbor after she wakes up in the hot sweats. She goes to the neighbors, the lovely white couple who has been amazing to her, and she lets them know what is going on and she feels uneasy. She explains everything about the man and what she thinks he's done. And he is like, no worries, I got you. He goes and he gets one of his guns, and she said it is one of the biggest, longest guns she's ever seen held in her life. And he tells her, you put this under your pillow, and if you need to use it, you strike. And so she's nervous, but she does it. So Rose takes it home. She puts it under her pillow, and she's ready. And so the gentleman comes back. He comes back in the midst of all this. She looks out the window, and she sees him pointing a gun at her house. And so she is obviously freaked out by this. She doesn't go get the gun or do anything crazy at this moment. But he leaves, and she goes again the next day and tells the neighbor and the family, the neighbors, what have happened and what has happened. And again, like, I'm feeling uneasy. Whew, And he says, again, I got you. We're gonna make sure we're gonna work through this thing together. Don't you worry, I'll make sure I'm patrolling at night, just kind of see what's going on. And he holds his word, he does. She looks out the window on one of these nights, and he is sitting on her porch. He is sitting out there in his Klansman uniform, hood and all, guys, sitting there protecting this black woman. And as it would be, she goes to court because she doesn't even say anything to the neighbor to let him know that she's seen him. But she does go to court after this, and she tells the people what has been happening, and she lets them know that she wants to get a restraining order. At first, they're like, something has to happen that you can prove before anything can happen. And of course, most of the times you got to be dead before you can get the approval, but that's a whole nother story for another day. But the clerk says, the person in the front says, let me go back and kind of see if I can talk to the judge and see if he'll approve it. And Lord behold, y'all, if the judge wasn't Judge Joe Brown himself, he approves it. He approves it, and life does go on. She later actually winds up moving because she just doesn't feel comfortable. Ironically enough, the day before she moves, the guy gets a hold of her and asks, can we be friends? And she knows she's leaving, so it winds up working out. But I say all that to say the story because so often we judge people, and I'm sure so many of us, especially if we saw a Klans member, especially so many black people, if we saw a Klans member, rightfully so, we would think we're we're prejudging correctly. But not always. Everything is not always what it seems. Everyone has their experiences. We don't know what has brought them to the place that they're at, but we also don't know what place they're actually at until we have those conversations, until we see the experiences, until we see people show up. So, whatever you take from this video, I just hope you take that to know to take a step back. Don't stop judging or stop judging what you think you know. It's okay to keep it in there and have, because we all have natural biases. I ask you to challenge those biases and to sit in the discomfort for a minute and see if what you think is true or think is this just a part of it. And you'll be so surprised. Not always. Sometimes stuff is what it is, and if it look like poo, it's poo. But sometimes it's not. And sometimes you will see beauty in the things that you think you shouldn't see, and you'll be able to develop those bonds and relationships and those experiences that make life special, those experiences that will add depth to your life and theirs as well. So I've got a crying baby to go tend to. So if you didn't take anything, again, like, I hope you take something from that story. Do not forget to subscribe, click the notification bell, and I cannot wait to chat with you guys next week. I hope this leaves some light on your day and in your week, and I will be talking to you guys real soon.